clap.
I'm gonna clap.
Clapping. To clap. The clapper.
What's up, everybody?
Hello. We missed a week. Did we miss a week? I don't think we technically missed a week.
No.
We were supposed to record last week, though.
We were doing our preparation for our end of the year extravaganza, which
Is that what we're doing?
which is a bit of a big word, and it's gonna let you
I
down.
was shopping for people.
Right.
And full disclosure. Hey, thanks to everybody who donated. Did we talk about doing the last one? We might have. I don't know. But thanks to everyone who donated for the...
We ended up running an extra couple days. We got some extra stuff. Plenty of stuff went around McDonald House. Thank you very much. I'm sure it's appreciated.
Next year we'll be more prepared. We'll figure that out.
Right on.
In fact, that's going to be the theme of 2017. Is next year we're going to be more prepared. I know you can't tell by this because it doesn't seem prepared, but it's actually a complex web of preparedness that we have to construct to make us look so unprepared. Yeah.
Be prepared. It's going to be our theme for the year.
Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, well, we're going to get together, but there was Christmas stuff to do and shop stuff to do. And, like we were going to do like a Christmas thing. And I thought, I don't really feel like doing a Christmas thing. I don't really. I mean, we were going to discuss like our favorite Christmas stories and stuff like that, but I don't know. My favorite Christmas story is The Long Kiss Goodnight.
It's a good one.
That's what I watch every year. I watch that and Love Actually.
She likes Love Actually. I'm not. It's okay. I watch Die Hard and Elf. Elf does it for me every year.
A lot of people like Elf.
Do you like Elf?
I don't know if I've seen it the whole thing. I've seen parts of it. I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things. I actually have it. I think Google Play gave it to us free one year, so I have it sort of in my queue. I just never got around to watching it.
Right on. Anyway, what we're going to do is we've picked out 3 things that we like from 3 different...
Yeah, so we're going to discuss our end of the year thing, right?
Yeah.
3 comics, 3 movies, and 3 TV shows. Should we do the movies last or middle?
You want to save comics for last?
No.
All right.
I'd rather do comics.
Well,
hey, do we have anything to recommend this week?
Yes, we're going to recommend these things.
Yeah, I guess technically. All right. You want to go first?
I will go first. Yes. We're going to start off with comics.
Yes.
Our favorite comics of the year.
Yeah, we're doing 1 and 1, right?
1 and 1, right. I'll just start off with a no-brainer. I know you're already smirking. You knew it was the first thing I was going to pick.
Yeah, because you're not that creative.
If you know me and you come in the shop, you know I'm going to recommend
Have you watched this show more than once?
Or just once. You've heard me talk about Moon Knight. It is one of the most solid, well-put-together books of the year. I don't know what else to say. If you like good comics, read it.
I like bad comics, personally.
What do you got for us?
The real problem this year, I feel, with comics is, okay, there's been some really bad stuff, but for the most part, a lot of comics have been kind of just flat.
Very flat.
I
agree.
Not necessarily bad, not great, just kind of, I like that. Like, I can recommend Champions, and I have, because I like Champions. But I feel like I'd be lying if I said, like, Champions just blew me away to another level. Like,
right.
It was really good. It was strong, but I can't really say it was, like, my favorite. Funny enough, I haven't read all of the book that I'm going to recommend because I'm still waiting for the hardcover omnibus that I'm sure is coming out.
Okay.
Vision. It's probably the most inventive book, arguably this year. I'd say Vision. It's just not what people expected. It'll look cool, but like it's a horror tale starring one of the most well-known Avengers.
Those Marvel books that were coming out where you're kind of like, oh, another character. We'll see how long this one lasts, and it turned out to be pretty incredible.
Oh yeah, and the rest of them, stuff like Scarlet Witch and all that, I'm sure was fine. But a lot of those books, people just went, okay, and they went away. But Vision, the only reason Vision's over is because Tom King decided to go DC exclusive. I think that's what he is.
I don't know. Well, he's definitely DC exclusive, but I don't know if he had an arc plan to end it or.
Well, that's you might be right about that too. So yeah, Vision. Like I said, I haven't read all of it, but that's because I'm specifically waiting for the hardcover omnibus to finish out the story.
I blame that book for me not enjoying Batman as much right now.
I mean, it's different characters. Like, and
That book
Batman's
just
not
set the bar.
Batman's not bad, but
It's so high.
But here's the thing: you can't do as much with Batman as you can with Vision because there. I mean, DC has legal teams for every major. Like, there is a Wonder Woman legal team out there that specifically regards everything involving Wonder Woman. Batman is probably the most well guarded in that regard. So, unless you're Grant Morrison, DC is going to keep a tight lid on you. Tight lid. Excuse me. Or I'm sure. Well, obviously Scott Snyder got away with more, but Tom King doesn't have that name.
He got away with a little bit already. I mean, he changed some stuff.
He did, but I just feel like he's not allowed to do as much on a character like that. Vision, at this point, I don't know that Marvel cares much about Vision. They've killed him twice, 3 times, or something. I don't know. And so yeah, I mean, being fair to him.
But yeah, good pick. Super dark book, super good book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My next pick is going to be a book that stirred some controversy when it first came out.
Well, to be fair, it did start as well.
It did. Captain America: Steve Rogers came out with a bang. Everyone was upset, calling Captain America a Nazi. How could you do this, Marvel? But those people never actually read the book because there's a lot more going on. This is another super deep book. There's a lot of levels of what's going on. Just how much is Cap brainwashed. Great book. Another super solid. Like we were saying, a lot of books are flat. This is a deeper story. Like, this feels like a long game story. Like, this was not just a story set up for you to come in, read it for a couple issues, and move on. This is a long, slow burn story.
Right on. My number 2 pick, I was a little mixed on whether or not I should include it.
I didn't do them in order.
Oh, well, that's how I'm doing it. My number 2 pick. Well, I guess technically I'm not either because Vision would be higher than this one.
What's your next pick?
I chose Black Panther as one of my best 2016.
Okay.
Largely because it defied expectations, which you could say the same with Vision. But, Ta-Nehisi Coates had never written a comic before. And I read a little bit of that book. I don't remember what it was called, but the book that he's famous for, it's not like a prose narrative. It doesn't really... there was no real evidence that he would translate well as a comic book writer because, I mean, even with regular novel writers, like action writers, like say Charlie Houston, a lot of them have a tough time going from books to comics because it's a different pacing and what have you. But between him and Brian Stelfreeze, it really did, it wasn't just a publicity stunt. It really did do well. I do have to take away a little bit because you can't promise me Brian Stelfreeze and give me other artists who, not to say not as talented, because Chris Sprouse is really talented,
right? But
the style is so visually different that it really messes with you. That's why it wouldn't be higher. But I was really impressed by the launch of Black Panther, and it's there's been other launches like the one with Francisco Francavilla and stuff like that looked interesting but didn't quite catch on. So I'm glad that this one stayed around.
It did. I mean, we sold out of it several times. Mm-hmm. So,
and those covers are really great. I like there's one that's like a maze of his face.
It's Brian Stelfreeze. I mean, he's incredible. And the amount of thought that he put into that character, he redesigned everything, and there was a reason behind, how the suit worked and the life beads.
Mm-hmm. And because he's a fan of Kirby, and Kirby is Black Panther, there's a lot of thought that goes into that and making it a more Kirby-esque comic. So, really, really cool.
Right on. Moving on to my last pick, Darth Vader. It's a nice 25-issue set. They said they were going to tell this story and move on. It's a really, really awesome story. They bring in a new character. I'm sure you've heard of Dr. Aphra by now. She has basically the opposite of R2-D2 and C-3PO. Little death droids. They're fantastic. Really good story. Wraps up really, really nicely. If you like Star Wars and you like Vader, I don't know why you haven't read this already, but absolutely check that out.
I actually haven't. I kind of meant to and just didn't get around to it because the Star Wars regular comic, I know it sells really well, but it's been kind of back and forth with me. I was absolutely on board when Stuart Eminem was there,
right?
But he was only on like 3 issues. So like some of the other ones, I don't know. I didn't know, like, do you get into it if you're not reading the regular Star Wars comic? Or
absolutely.
So I'll have to check it out. I've been wanting to check out Vader Down anyway.
Yeah, there was one little crossover that went across the Vader Down series, but fantastic story.
And that's not collected by itself in a hardcover. My last one I've talked about several times on this show. Superman by Tomasi and Patrick Gleason. And I'm choosing that one over the Dan Jurgens one, which is surprising because Dan Jurgens kind of, if you had to choose one writer or writer/artist that defines Superman for a lot of people, Dan Jurgens is probably it. You know, Jurgens is, I mean, he was there my whole life as the Superman writer, but I found myself really loving the Tomasi and Gleason comic, and the reason that I love it so much is just because like it's classic Superman back, and I'm not even a huge Superman fan, but I like Superman to be Superman, and we spent 5 years with Superman being kind of a douchebag, like, well, not totally, but just like well, more, I guess, like kind of emo or something like that, like he's a little moodier and angrier, like a kind of a pain in the ass teenager. And I don't think anybody liked it, you know. And it's interesting that now we're back to the Superman we grew up with, but it's not just like business as usual. He has a kid now. There's a different situation to it, a different dynamic. And, you know, when Lois Lane feels like a different character, a more mature woman, and nobody's complaining about that. It's not like, you know, like they like to paint fanboys as like these you know, fat nerds. Not that, yeah, I can really, but you know, but they like to paint them as like the, you know, like sitting there like puffing Cheetos and what have you, and just constantly complain about any little change. And it's not true. Like, if you give us a good story, we can adapt to change. But if you give us a bad story, you're just arbitrarily changing things, then people get mad.
And those books have been pretty much universally loved by the DC fans. You know, that's what they're looking for. So.
Yeah. So those were my 3 for comics for this year. Right. We're going to do TV or movies next?
Let's do TV.
Okay. Well, you want me to go first?
You go ahead and go first. What you got?
Okay. Actually, I had a little bit of trouble with TV. I'll go with my first pick last.
Neither one of us really watch a whole lot of TV, right?
It's not that I don't watch TV. I just haven't been watching anything current. Like, you and I were having this discussion. Like, I've been really on like a Deep Space Nine kick for the last year, wanting to like rewatch a lot of that. And a lot of what I've been doing is just watching older stuff.
I don't just turn on the TV just to have it on in the background. Like, if I turn the TV on, it's with a purpose to watch something.
Well, if I do turn it on in the background, I'm doing something.
Right. Otherwise, I'm working. So.
But my first pick, like, I actually had to go through some lists. I'm like, what have I watched anything new this year? Because there's been a lot of bad stuff on TV, for sure. Things that I tried that were just terrible. And I really got into Last Man Standing this year.
Okay.
When I first watched it, when it first came out, now I'm a right-wing guy, but I don't like stories, or at least comedy, that relies on your politics. Like, if the joke's just like, yeah, like Obama, that's not funny.
Right.
That's just stupid. Like, it's red meat thrown to your audience. But what I like about Last Man Standing is like that's when I first started watching it, like the first season, a few episodes, and it was cute. It was okay, but I just really didn't get into it aside from the daughters, who were pretty hot. But I caught up with it this year, and man, very quickly into season 1, and and particularly after season 1, they found a happy medium where they could do what liberal-leaning TV shows do, which is have your leanings, but still tell your jokes.
Right.
And it's also become less like one-sided. They show different types of political perspective. Now that, or spectrum, excuse me. Not that we need a lot of that these days because it's everywhere, but I just feel like it's a really strong show. I like that it makes fun of a lot of the SJW stuff and all that, and it's solid performances, like interesting characters and actors, and I find it funny, so.
Right on. I guess my first choice is going to be a pretty obvious one. Daredevil Season 2, which
I haven't seen it.
You have not seen yet,
I really like Season 1.
You're really going to like Season 2. Punisher is great, very well done. Solid writing, more of what you love if you love Season 1.
All right.
There's a scene on the rooftop where Punisher has Daredevil chained up. I'm not gonna ruin anything, and they just have this conversation, and it's one of the best moments of the whole season. Fantastic.
Right on. I can't remember the one I was going to go with second. I'm going to have to get my list in a second. But
if only you put that on the screen.
I thought I'd remember all of them. But so I'll go with my third pick, which is The Flash. I really dig The Flash. It's I can't think of arguably anything that's done as much like good as far as adapting a comic book onto any screen. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like it's better than Avengers or something like that, but man, there's so much fan service in this show, and it's not distracting. It's not hokey. The actors are phenomenal. Like we've talked a lot about like random race swapping characters that it doesn't really help things and actually hurts things. But like looking at I can't think of her name, but
Iris.
Looking at Iris and Wally West, who's a big one for me because that was our Flash growing up.
Right.
Like they're well, technically Wally's mixed. No, that's in the comics. He's Wally's black, but they're both black. I like both of those actors, but any complaints I would have about that are erased by the fact that Jesse L. Martin is Joe West, who might be the best actor on television right now. When that dude delivers like certain scenes, it's just chilling. And Grant Gustin is Barry, and there's a lot of fan service. They just did that Invasion crossover, which was pretty awesome. Surprisingly, it was called Heroes vs. Aliens. I thought it'd be terrible, and it wasn't. I really enjoyed it. So Flash definitely gets high marks from me. It's pretty consistently good.
Right on. While he pulls out his list, I'm going to go into my next one, which is... I was about to say, that looks like a receipt. My next one's going to be Westworld. You good?
Yeah, I'm good, sorry.
HBO, pretty stellar record for putting out incredible series. This was, of course, based on the old Michael Crichton, the first thing he ever wrote, right? I believe.
I'm not sure. I'm more familiar with like what was it? Was it Telly Savalas movie?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He wrote it.
But it wasn't a book first?
I don't think so.
Oh. Okay, then I'm go on.
Yeah. So it's kind of a remake, but it's reimagined, brought forward. The basic premise, if you want to run down, if you don't know anything about it, if you've been living in a box, there's a theme park, and it's themed in the Old West style. And basically, you can go to this theme park and do whatever you want. All the players or characters are androids, basically, artificial intelligence. So you can go do whatever you want. You can go play around in the whorehouse. You can go on a hunt to capture wanted criminals. And basically, anytime there's AI involved, something goes wrong. AI gets a little smart. Great show.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about the show. I've seen the first episode. It's really impressive the talent that they have as far as now. Obviously, they have Cyclops, James Marsden, but they've got Anthony Hopkins. They've got Ed Harris. Just really, really impressive. And I've been wanting to get into it, but just a lot going on.
It's so good. If you're not completely all in by episode 3 of that show, I don't know.
I don't know why I couldn't think of my last pick, because it's one of my favorite shows of all time, Archer. I don't want to give away the ending of this past season, because it's kind of shocking what they did, but Adam Reed, the creator, is constantly reinventing the show, and it's such a pop culture phenomenon. It's just one of those shows. I could have also included, and I probably should have, Gravity Falls.
Right.
It's incredible.
Oh yeah, that ended this year, right?
Yeah, it was only 2. They're saying that one day Emil Hirsch might have another story to tell, but it doesn't matter. But anyway, we got that. We've got Rick and Morty. We've got Archer. There's so much great pop culture nerd stuff that's still out there, and it's nice that it's still out there, even though things like Community ended and Scrubs and all these great shows. So Archer is one of the best things ever. Sterling Archer is one of my favorite characters of all time.
The beauty of Archer also being that every season is completely different, but it's the same Archer,
Right.
The different settings. That
The
took me a while
animation is
to.
outstanding.
That took me a while to watch, and when I finally watched it, I just binged it all the way through.
So yeah, I'm kind
So,
of glad I
TJ?
went that one last. Yeah, we happened. You went to high school with one of the. I forget what he was last. I think he's a team director now. He was lead animator, lead illustrator. He's done everything. But yeah, so buddy at Floyd County Productions. Anyway,
So
we got movies as last.
you want to pick the last TV show?
Oh, you didn't do yours.
Right.
I'm sorry.
You want me to, or you want to just
No,
move on?
go ahead. I'm sorry. I forgot. I was.
So
I went last for the first one.
another Netflix show, Luke Cage, another Netflix Marvel show. They've all
Another
been,
one I haven't seen.
all been fantastic, but another really cool, different flavor. Each one of those feels a little bit different.
What flavor would that be? Chocolate?
Jesus, sweet Christmas flavor.
Anyway, go on. Sorry.
So, Luke Cage, in tone, a little bit darker, a little more serious, I guess, than some of the other ones, even though Daredevil's pretty dark and bloody. Luke Cage, more of a feel-good kind of story.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of cool throwbacks to original stuff, because if you've read comics, that original Luke Cage costume is pretty incredible. They do a nice little homage to
very
that.
70s.
It is exactly that. It is the 70s personified into superhero wardrobe.
Mm-hmm.
But lots of cool characters. Said it's presented in Harlem. Awesome show. Check that out.
They really, I haven't seen it yet, but I like they made a real splash when they put this on Netflix. The little interstitial commercial that plays on Netflix has "Old Dirty Bastard" as the soundtrack, and it gives it a little more of a triumphant like here's Luke Cage, kind of thing. Rather,
it's in the show.
I don't even remember what
one of the musical overtones. There's Wu-Tang as he's going in to take care of some business, and it works.
Nice. So, yeah, I need to get around to seeing it. That and Daredevil Season 2. The last one that I watched was Jessica Jones. And that might be why I like Jessica Jones, but it kind of, I don't know, left a little bit of a weird aftertaste. So, you want me to go first with movies, or you want to go first?
I'll grab the first one. You can just start off with the most obvious one. I've just seen it. Rogue One. I'm sure everyone's going to see this movie. I've heard a little bit of different opinions both ways. I love this movie. I've heard the complaints. Some of them I can kind of see. Other ones, I think you're missing the point. But as far as fan service goes, I want to go see this a couple more times. There's a lot of stuff in the background you might notice, you might not have noticed. There's so much stuff going on. There's nods. It connects perfectly with the next movie.
Yeah, Rogue One's really good. I enjoyed it. I didn't love it the way other people did. I thought it was like a solid B. Very, very strong movie, but certainly not perfect. And I don't know. I just don't like the hyperbole that I've heard a lot of people use. There's a lot of people just saying like, "Oh, it's the best Star Wars movie of all time." Like,
no, look, come on, pump the brakes. That's not what I'm saying.
It's not even close. Like,
it is a nice, comforting that we have new Star Wars content coming out and it's good.
I mostly love that it took risks, which we can't get into because that involves spoilers. But actually, well, as much as anything involves spoilers, not really. But yeah, no.
There's some stuff in there, like everyone says, oh, you can't spoil it. You already know what happens. There's stuff that you need to just be surprised when you see it and be delighted by.
But none of it's really surprising. It's interesting, but none of it's really surprising if you've thought about the movie for more than 2 seconds. So.
Right. Darth Vader's in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, since you went with like your biggest pick first, I guess I'll do the same. My favorite movie in a very long time is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I really love that movie, and I can't pretend I'm like a hardcore Harry Potter fan. I'm a very big Harry Potter fan, but I haven't read all the books. I've read 3 of them.
Half of one.
There's one that I only read half of. But
words.
No, I mean I like the books, but they get better as they go on.
Right.
As with anything. But Fantastic Beasts is like the most complete movie out of the other ones were adaptations. This one was like J.K. Rowling sat and wrote it meant to be as a screenplay. So there's not like them trying to figure out, oh, can we cut this? Do we have to bridge this? All these things. And she's at kind of the height of her powers as a writer.
Mm-hmm.
So I love everything about it. I actually bought the score as soon as I left the theater. It is a great film. You fall in love with all the characters, and just awesome. It's probably my favorite movie since Avengers.
I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan. I mean, I like Harry Potter. My wife might be the biggest Harry Potter fan, judging by the bag of wands sitting right there. Mm-hmm. I went in, I took her to see it. I was just kind of expecting another, whatever. I was very pleasantly surprised. Like you said, that is a fantastic movie.
Right on.
Characters, everyone just spot on. If you don't feel good when you leave that movie, I don't know.
You're a terrible person.
You're a terrible person, right? I guess my second pick will be 10 Cloverfield Lane, which was kind of a surprise hit for me. I really like the original Cloverfield as much as I hated it because they don't give you all the pieces to the puzzle. They kind of like let you.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I thought it was an interesting experiment. I enjoyed the first Cloverfield.
I loved it, but it also kind of aggravated me because I wanted more, which is what you're supposed to do. So when they announced this, I was really excited. Then the trailer hit, and it was like, okay, didn't know what to expect. So when I finally watched it, I was, I guess, surprised, but I shouldn't have been, that it was completely different than I thought. It is a complete suspense movie. I mean, all it does is just build suspense, and then when stuff finally happens. So basically, there's something going on, and they're living in a bunker underneath the guy's house. And that's pretty much all you know, and...
You're not selling this movie very well.
I'm not selling it.
Basically, it's a movie where people are in a bunker in a guy's house.
They're in a bunker. There's stuff going on upstairs. Wow. Or is there stuff going on upstairs? It's pretty much the definition of psychological thriller.
Spoilers. Something was going on upstairs. They were playing Yahtzee.
They were playing Yahtzee. No, that'd be M. Night Shyamalan presents 10 Cloverfield Lane. It's a twist.
It would be pretty funny if that was actually what was happening. If they were just going up there and they're just people playing Twister.
But I can't understand if this isn't your kind of movie. This is for a specific kind of person to enjoy. But definitely check that out if you like suspenseful movies.
Right on. For my second choice, I wanted to go with something a little more unusual. It's an animated film, but it's probably not one of the ones that you're thinking of from this year. It's not Moana or Zootopia, which, yeah, I didn't see Moana. I've heard great things about it. I saw Zootopia. I know people like blown away by it. It's pretty good. I went with Kubo and the Two Strings, which is
Also, I haven't seen it yet, but
really good. Like it's one of the most unusual films out this year. It uses that stop motion animation style. It's from the same people that did like Nightmare Before Christmas, not Tim Burton specifically, but people who did that, people who did Coraline, and I think the Box Trolls was the most recent one they did.
Mm-hmm.
But just a beautiful tale, amazing animation, great storytelling. It's I don't know what else to say about that. It's just a great story, and I love seeing things that are different. You know, like Moana is probably a great film. I should definitely see it, but I don't feel like I'd be breaking any new ground by seeing it.
right,
Whereas Kubo and the Two Strings, like this feels like something special when you're watching it.
right on.
So,
On to my last pick, I guess. Complete different direction. It's a pop star, Never Stop, Never Stopping. It's a fantastic film. It really gets you.
first of all, the fact that you called it a film.
It gets you right here. It is a tale of someone learning the lesson, the heavy price of fame, and never forget where you came from.
I haven't seen this movie, but I get the feeling that's probably not an apt description.
It's The Lonely Island.
It must be very lonely.
If you like them, you'll dig this. It's hilarious. The soundtrack's awesome. The whole soundtrack is done by them with guests like Pink's on it, Adam Levine, Justin Timberlake, lots of cameos. Basically, he's in a group which is essentially the Beastie Boys, and they get really, really big and popular, and he kind of stands out as the one, and he breaks off. One of the guys gets upset, and pretty much everyone leaves him, and it's him
Being lonely.
Yeah.
Being a lonely island.
But it's hilarious. Check that out. Anyway,
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt.
yeah, it's not your thing. I get it. But if you like The Lonely Island and that's your thing, you will love this movie. If you like South Park, if you like Team America World Police, that kind of stuff. What?
Team America's a little more sophisticated than
A
that.
little more sophisticated. They have puppets. Anyway.
It's a lot of allegories and like subtext.
Yeah, this has it too. It gets a little political. They talk about the assassination of Osama bin Laden in relation to intercourse.
Anyway. Is that it, or is there more to this pitch?
That's it. All right. So that's stuff we liked.
What? I guess you're doing it to me now?
What? Oh, you're not done?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I had a third one. At least I'm not the only one who did that. My last one's a movie that I'm very surprised to be on this list because it is a sequel to a movie that I genuinely thought was a horrible choice.
Kung Fu Panda 3?
No, I said a horrible choice. No, Kung Fu Panda 2 is my jam.
All right.
No, Star Trek Beyond. I actually saw it the same day I saw it. I saw Kubo and the Two Strings. I watched them back to back, believe it or not. And I had heard that. Okay, so this movie did not do well. It was in and out of theaters very quickly.
Really?
Yeah, it was. I might have been a month in theaters, which is not good for a movie of this nature. But it's not surprising because Star Trek Into Darkness was. I don't want to say it was terrible. It was just a lot of really bad choices. But this movie was one of the most fun movie experiences of the year. Like I could, there's one scene in particular. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Towards the end of the movie, that it's like I used the term red meat earlier. It's like you're throwing a little red meat to the audience, but it's so awesome that you're just like, yeah, you know. But I've really enjoyed this movie. I'm really hoping that it does well on the back end, and they're able to make another one. Justin Lin really knocked it out of the park. He's the guy who did Fast and the Furious, well, last two Fast and the Furious.
That's why you liked it.
No, I actually thought it was a stupid idea. I thought, like, why are you using the Fast and the Furious guy to make a Star Trek movie? But
this was actually one that was on the borderline of my list too, because I had heard a lot of kind of meh about it, and I finally watched it, and just like you, I loved it. I thought it was great.
Now, does it feel like a classic Star Trek movie? No, but it's way better than the first. And I like the first one.
It does do a good job of blending old and new, maybe bring in some new fans.
That's another thing. The actors are really growing into those roles. Carl Urban had a little bit of an issue when he first started playing Dr. McCoy, and he's grown into the role really well. Mm-hmm. And it feels like they're not trying to do impressions anymore. Now it's just like, this is our job. This is who we are. And just great. New characters, new ideas. The opening scene was really funny and original. So yeah, Star Trek Beyond. I do want to mention one last thing, because I forgot. You were talking about Rogue One. Mm-hmm. And one of my problems with it's not a problem with Rogue One, but one of the things that's constantly in my head when I see it, like Rogue One or The Force Awakens, is one of my favorite shows, which should have been on my list, and I didn't think about it, is Star Wars Rebels. Right. Rebels is the best Star Wars story since the original movies.
You haven't seen Clone Wars, though.
I've been watching Clone Wars.
Okay.
I like Clone Wars. I don't like the anthology nature of it. Like, I just found out that it's not chronological. And so, like, I'm watching it, I'm like, why isn't this chronological? You had to watch 3 seasons to find out what happened before season 1. Like, it's pretty bizarre. But anyway, no, Clone Wars is really good, and the art is better in Clone Wars, obviously. Right. It's got a bigger production budget, but
I've only seen the first season of Rebels, so.
Did you see the whole season, though?
I don't remember.
I don't think you have. Because, like, if you can get to the end of season 1 of Rebels and not just be mind blown by how good it is, I don't know if we have anything to talk about. But
did you know, speaking of Rebels, Chopper is in Rogue One?
Yes, I did. Like, you just gave away a spoiler to Rogue One.
It's not a spoiler. Stop it.
It's one of the best parts of Rogue One. Actually, I knew that, but I didn't see it. I did catch the
Ghost?
No, I knew about that beforehand, and that's also hard to see. Like, you gotta freeze frame it to see it. But no, I knew. I noticed the Hera shout out in it. Mm-hmm. One of the characters from Rebels is mentioned in the background. But yeah, Rebels is so good. So, but I guess that's it. I don't know. You know, like I said, like this year has been kind of weird on a number of levels. And there's more good stuff. Like, you know, I just mentioned like a couple of other TV shows that should have been on my list. And I think, you know, if we sat down, and neither one of us mentioned Civil War, even though I really like Civil War, I thought about putting it on my list.
I liked it too, but I feel like everyone did, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, but everyone did, but I think everyone forgot about it within a few months. Doctor Strange, same thing. Like, people lost their mind for that, and I was just like, that's good. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't buy it. Deadpool is another one that I enjoyed, but it wouldn't make the top of my list.
No, but it's a pretty important film in the fact that it took some of those risks and was still largely successful, which opened the door for other people to do that. Hopefully not overly so, but
we'll see. But yeah, so looking forward to 2017. Hopefully, even more cool movies and shows and stuff like that.
Which hopefully, the next show we're going to talk about some stuff we're looking forward to next year.
It's going to require research.
Yeah, I've got that list. That list is easier for me than this list. So.
I don't know what's coming out in comics right now.
New X-Men books. Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, we'll see you next week. Is there anything do we have anything coming up in the new year as far as events at BSI Comics?
We will in January, but we don't have anything to announce right now.
Okay.
So.
Well, we'll get back to you, so read more comics. I didn't know if you were going to say
Bye,
something.
folks.
Okay.